Well, hi YouTubers. Okay, I'm back for the Physics 100 books, and this is a new one. This is a graphic novel, Fun Home, a family tragic comedy by Alison Bechdel. Now, she's the creator of the Bechdel test, which is, you watch any film, okay, with like two romantic leads, watch out for the women, okay? Watch what they talk about. A lot of times all they do is talk about men. That's it. That's entire conversations. That's it. That's it. But this happens quite a lot with other films as well. Watch out what men talk about. Is they talk about the same kind of issues. There's a film called Something New, okay, which I generally enjoyed, and it's about a woman who falls in love with a white man. She's black, he's white, and the issues that they're having. And I watched it thinking, who cares? But it was a big issue to her. But every single conversation she had with her girlfriends, okay, was about dating Brian, and I'm like, no one cares about this but you, Kenya. However, the film is very, very good. Some very, very nice leads, and I like the ending. Okay. But it's that kind of thing, you know. Watch what people talk about in films, and it's yeah, it's quite interesting. You can really apply it to anything. Okay. So, Alison Bechdel, the Bechdel test. She's also creator of the comic series Dykes to Watch Out For, and she's really, really good. I've followed her work for a while, and this book is so good. This book is break your heart. The brutality of how she writes. It's a story of her family. Funheim is raised into her family's funeral home in this like small town, and it's also the story of struggling. At the time that Alison was struggling to deal with her own identity, so was her father. Her father was a closeted gay man who, it never said specifically that he killed himself, but he did kill himself. He walked into the trunk of a car and died on impact. And it's a story of identity, trying to find who you are, especially when you lose your father at such a young age. I've lost mine, but mine was cancer. That was like a natural progression, not a sudden impact, if you will. Sorry for being so crass with the words. It's also the story of life growing up in the 70s and 80s in quite a brutal, realistic fashion, especially if you're gay. Alison, when she came out via letter, and the reactions of her parents was quite tragic and especially harsh in hindsight. You feel a lot of sympathy for her father too. He was living in France, kind of post-war, kind of living like the bohemian atmosphere, if you will, okay, the new world, if you will. And then I got the phone call with his wife, Alison's mother, who was pregnant at the time and just enjoying life post-war. And then they got the phone call saying they had to come back to the fun home, okay, and take over. It really is a story of someone who never got a real chance to live and enjoy life, going through a war, and then having to go back to this kind of like closeted mentality mindset of a small town. It's it is. It's a lot of sadness. I read this from a point of sadness, not only because I've lost my own father, but the sadness of his situation. He was arrested for solicitation of minors, and Alison found this about a lot after he passed away. But it's a story of just sadness. There's this point where you can see a father who was originally dismissive of his daughter's sexuality, trying to reconcile by going to see a film and then going for a drink afterwards at a gay bar, and she was turned away due to no ID, or maybe she actually was underage, I'm not sure. But you can see that reconciliation coming in. He's trying, and it never ever really truly happens. One bit though is this, okay, this happened to me too. 86. I read this and thought, yeah. The thing is though, this is set, even though this was set in the last, like, you know, not even like 30 years ago, the landscape and mentality has changed so much. It's unbelievable. I was trying to explain it to my nephew, of all things, and I said, listen, when we were young, it was different. That's all I'm going to say. It was different. It was a lot different. Oh, okay. It is page 106. I've been here. I've never been inside the front door of Mum's old building, and sorry, but I'm as nostalgic about it as if I lived there myself. As successive visits to the city, I grew to know the neighbourhood. It's a Chumley's. Dad and I used to come drink here. It's a bar. How come there's no sign? We just have to know about it. Neat, said Alison. Years later, I entered of the evening of bar hopping. I entered this establishment with a gang of lesbian friends. Covers $15, ladies. $15? We left too naive to realise we'd been 86. I didn't even know the term 86. When I did learn it, my retroactive mortification was softened by the knowledge that I'd taken part in such a lexicographical event. Yeah, this chapter here from 106, it just, the life and the detail, okay, just the detail is, now this was, and honestly, as this is a personal memoir, if you will, and I actually did some research on this, Alison actually reenacted every single frame. She dressed up as her father to reenact every single image, if you will. And the level and the detail is astonishing. Oh, man. Now, I know this was turned into a play. I want to see a film. I want to see a film, most definitely. Who could play who? I don't know. So, but it's a story about literature and coming to terms with who you are, and an ever-changing landscape as well, both financial and sociological. This is a heartbreaking memoir, and it has no real, I guess, ending, if you will. But the level and the detail, and Alison Bechdell's way with words will break you and touch your heart. It's a story about a childhood where you're trying to find out who you are, and it also celebrates life and love. When at the time, this is at the time, you are literally on the margins of society. So I do recommend this book. Yes, I cried. Yes, I cried. This is a beautiful, beautiful book. Oh, sorry, I normally read the blurb on the back, I forgot. Fun Home is a fresh and brilliant told memoir marked by gothic twists, a fun funeral home, sexual angst, and great books. Like Margene Strapi's Persepolis, it's a story extractingly suited to graphic memoir form. Meet Alison's family, obsessive restorer of the family's Victorian home, funeral director, high school English teacher, icy distant parent, and closet homosexual, who as it turns out is involved with his male students and a babysitter. Through a narrative that is fiercely heartbreaking and fiercely funny, we are drawn into her daughter's complex yearning for her father. When Alison comes out as a homosexual herself in late adolescence, denouncement is swift, graphic, and redemptive. That sums up everything. Okay, so I can really say about a graphic novel, but it's a touch of realism, and I think that this book should be studied in schools, because the frustration and the intellectual yearnings of the father, who missed his chance of being who he truly, truly was, will break your heart. Okay. Bye now, YouTubers.